Welcome to Practice Playbook, where we get real about what it takes to build, grow, and run a modern financial advisory practice. I'm Brandon Chapman, independent financial advisor based in Vancouver and the founder of AdvisorFlow. Every episode is pulled together directly from our live webinar sessions, condensed into sharp and actionable insights.
Today, we are jumping right into the deep end of the Practice Playbook, specifically focusing on strategic transition and book integration moments. Whether you're a veteran advisor getting ready to pass the torch or an emerging advisor who's just hungry to scale up, the mechanics of buying and selling a book of business, well, they're shifting rapidly. We've pulled together the absolute most critical operational insights and actual experiences from some incredible webinars featuring industry heavyweights like George Hartman.
George Hartman boasts a 50-year career as a financial services professional. He's excelled as an advisor, executive, educator, commentator, coach, and consultant.
Brent Swadek
Is the Vice President of Advisor Growth and Advanced Markets at the Griffin Advantage.
Chris Reynolds,
who started Investment Planning Council in 1995. He currently serves as the executive chair, and his firm is renowned for its client-centric approach and fostering a family-like culture among advisors.
and Kirk Wakefield.
A seasoned financial advisor based in Vancouver, British Columbia. Known for his meticulous attention to detail, active listening skills, and extensive experience in the financial services industry.
Okay, to kick things off, let's look at a statistic from Chris Reynolds.
On the independent side, currently in the Canadian space, we're about $1 trillion industry. Half of those assets are held by advisors or controlled or managed by advisors who are over the age of 60. Here's the challenge. Only 11% of them actually have a formalized succession plan. Like, that's amazing. And yet we're in the advice business. We give our clients advice. We deal with business owners. And the first thing we would tell them is, how are you going to drive your equity for the business you've built? How are you going to make sure your clients are looked after? How are you going to make sure your staff is looked after? And yet, startling to your point, only 11% are actually prepared and ready for that transition.
So, what does this tell us? It means we are watching an industry-altering demographic shift happening right now in real time. Which perfectly sets up Section 1, the succession crisis. For retiring veterans, it's a looming challenge. But for emerging advisors, it's a massive opportunity, with roughly 40% of veterans expected to exit soon.
Now let's move right into Section 2, Vision Before Acquisition.
In a market where there are roughly 50 buyers for every single seller, George Hartman emphasizes something absolutely crucial.
The first thing to do is to figure out what it is you are trying to accomplish by acquiring a book of business to leapfrog your business ahead. Are you looking just to bulk up your practice in some way, or are you looking to augment a business plan that you might already have in place? Habit number 2 from that 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, where he says, begin with the end in mind. Tell me your definition of success, because everyone does define success in their own way. What will your practice look like when it is as successful as you want it to be?
To drive this home, Hartman shares this crazy cautionary tale about a buyer who acquired 100 clients.
So that's my caution. Be thoughtful about this. Take your time. Don't be tempted. It's very tempting because there's such competition right now if you see a practice that comes up on the market to want to jump and grab it. I'd suggest that might be a mistake. And let me give you one very specific example before I hand this off to Brent. We were working with an advisor who acquired approximately 100 clients through an acquisition. And it looked like a great opportunity. They were good clients. The cash flow and everything made sense to him. He had an internal policy that every one of his clients had to receive a full financial plan before he made any product recommendations to them. So guess what? He had then set himself up to do 100 financial plans before he could fully completed the acquisition or transition. It took him over a year to complete those 100 plans and move that business forward. So again, that's what I mean about thinking about it within the context of the broader vision you have for your business.
Okay, so once your vision is locked in, we move to Section 3, Assessing Book Valuation.
We always hear these generic rules of thumb, like 2 times trailing revenue, right? But as Brent Swadek points out, not all practices are created equal.
The life insurance needs to be evaluated. I think, once again, those factors where if they really fit your market, if they're younger, there's a massive term block, there's a lot of opportunity in those blocks. If it's if they're a bunch of young entrepreneurs and they're in the growth phase or they're in the development phase of their business, like the development being startup folks. So if they're in that early phase of your business and you really, you know, the transitions through that to getting them to the point of either transitioning succession to the practice or making a very good exit of it, all that stuff holds value to you, right? Because it fits what you're trying to do with clients. So I would pay a premium for that stuff. Like, obviously, I'm willing to pay a premium for that stuff. Let's face it, I want to buy a toonie for a loony every day of the week when I'm out buying something. But, like if I'm looking at it, that holds a lot of attraction and value to me. I can market to that and I can go from the red to the black faster and build upon what I want to build. That's worth something to me.
You really have to ask yourself, does buying this specific block actually accelerate me toward my goals, or am I just paying for a bunch of distractions?
Next up is Section 4, Emotion Meets Financials.
Because let's be real, selling a 30-year legacy is never just about the math. It's about ego, community, and lifelong friendships.
So what does it take to put together a succession plan? And what you want to do is get yourself into the right space. The place that everybody wants to be in, and hopefully what we'll get through in the show, is high emotion, high financial, right? In other words, you know exactly what you want. You know what you want for your business. You know what you want for your clients. You know what you want for your staff. You know what you want from a legacy point of view. And it is meeting, the equity value that some people, and I'm sure we'll hear from Kurt, have spent a lifetime creating this legacy that wants to live on, and also get the right money, bottom line it, for the business that they have built, and get it with conditions that are livable.
And for those sellers who are actually emotionally ready to let go, Reynolds offers this ultimate test for vetting potential buyers.
First thing I ask them is, pretend I'm your client. Now take me through your process. And if it seems random in any way, then I'd have to question. I am a client experience junkie. And if you listen to my podcast, it's all I talk about all the time is the client experience. Is it a great experience? Do they feel good about it? Do they feel good about you? Is it definable? Is it repeatable? Or are you all over the map? And so my first question is, okay, I'm your client. Now take me through your process. And if I'm impressed, then we can continue our discussions.
The closer a buyer's process mirrors the original founder's level of care, the higher the chance of a successful handoff. So let's see how all of this theory actually plays out in Section 5, a real transition story. We're looking at Kirk Wakefield, a 40-year veteran with incredible client loyalty, transitioning his practice to Brandon Chapman, a younger, highly process-driven advisor. Kirk's big wake-up call to start succession planning happened when his clients began asking him this exact question.
I started on these meetings. My clients would go, well, Kirk, you're showing us where our money is going to be 10 years from now. Where are you going to be 10 years from now? Like, you're the same age as us, and we're retiring or we're retired. Like, when are you going to retire? And then all of a sudden I woke up one day and go, I don't have a plan for these people or my family. If anything was to happen to me, there's no plan in place to take care of my clients or my family.
So, Kirk and Brandon got to work. They mapped out this meticulous operational playbook.
So what we did is we looked at some of the softwares that I was using in my business and started to integrate them into his business. My team ended up helping him digitize his files. We use a platform called Sync. And he also set up an advisor flow subscription. So the reason for that is as he's re-engaging some of his clients, he's then able to send a financial overview survey and have them update information within the platform. When the clients end up coming over, it's going to mean a much smoother process because his clients are already used to some of the processes that I'm integrating in my business, but we'll be sharing his experience and my experience and blending the two together. We're now looking to integrate a mutual CRM so that the data can be easily integrated as the transition occurs. We're also doing a joint event. We're inviting some of his clients and some of mine. And the intent here is to further bridge the relationships. So my whole point with this is that I was willing to pay more for his book of business because he was willing to work with me on this.
And that brings us to the final hurdle in Section 6, securing client retention.
Because executing the paperwork, honestly, that's the easy part.
The real challenge is keeping the clients and keeping compliance tight during the handover.
When we're onboarding those folks into our firm or we're going into theirs, we need to make sure that all the clients are contacted within a finite period. And so we need to figure out what that means. Are we going to do phone calls, emails, texts? What we don't want is a client coming in and saying, you never contacted me and this happened, right? The policy lapsed or the market declined and I never heard from your firm, because that's a liability nightmare. So we do want to make sure that, all clients are contacted within a specific period of time. The other thing too is you want to meet with all the clients to make sure that the coverage is still in good standing, that the beneficiaries are correct. Never been more important to go out and do beneficiary reviews than right now. The other thing too is making sure that products meet their requirements. We want to do all this within a certain amount of time. So we want to make sure that all this is done within 6 months, 1 year.
We are going to leave you with this final provocative question to really challenge how you're structuring your own operations and legacy. Are you building a practice that relies entirely on you, or a business that will outlast you? Whether you're planning to sell in 5 years or you're looking to buy tomorrow, maximizing the value of a practice means creating a system that can run without its founder. The more your operations rely on your personal memory and, let's be honest, your ego, the harder it's going to be to successfully pass that torch. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.